It's time to work on your resume. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to take an old, uncomfortable resume and make it a new, comfortable, and relevant resume using AI correctly. Make no mistake, working on a resume can be an overwhelming and daunting experience for anybody. So here's the very first thing that you want to do with your resume before you take it over to AI. The very first step is just generally observe your resume. Now, using the sample that we have here, there's nothing wrong with this resume. This is exactly what most people submit. But as you're looking closer and closer at this resume here, you can see some pretty concrete problems that stick out right away. First one is the language is fairly generic. Contributed to, supported, performed. This sounds more like an autocomplete versus a human operator and somebody discussing the true value and what this person delivered. Second, signals of ownership. No decisions, no trade offs, no outcomes. Third, the formatting hides the meaning of this resume. Skills are boxed off like keywords. The experience reads like a task list, not necessarily a story. So, generally speaking, the problem here isn't the formatting. It just feels like it's an incomplete thought. Step number 2 of preparing your resume. I call this deciding. This is where you take your resume and you need to sit down and think about what do you actually want to do with your resume. A lot of people probably just take their resume and toss it over the fence and give it to AI. AI doesn't write your resume. It's more, I would say, of a thinking partner. It amplifies your thoughts. You give it your context. It'll go ahead and provide and reframe it. You have to still sit down and read it, iterate, go back and forth with it. But the way you do this, especially on deciding, is you need to sit down first and think about some of the questions that you want to ask yourself, which you do need to at that point provide to the AI. By just reviewing this resume over here, there are 3 questions that I need to ask myself, just right off the top. For example, what decisions did this person actually own? What ambiguity did this person reduce? What things broke if this person didn't do their job? By not giving AI the context that it needs, and that's the reason why it's really important to think about this before you take this over to AI, it can only give you simple things like grammar, generic writing, for example. You want the fullest and richest output that you can that represents you in your resume. Now that you've gone through the first 2 phases in preparing your resume for AI, again, phase number 1, observe your resume. Phase number 2, decide on what you want in your resume. Phase number 3 now is acting. Take all that information and bring it over to the AI chat dialog. Now, here's the trick. The first part of this is going to be drafting it. And you're going to be going back and forth on this draft. You're going to be asking it questions. Is it too vague? Is it articulating and showing the decisions that I've made? Is it answering the questions that I decided upon within the decide phase? You need to be sure to be very, very interactive with the AI at that point. All right, last step. This step is called verify. This is a very important one. So take your resume, look at it, print it out, and then once you have it in front of you, make sure to ask yourself some very key questions about this resume. Look at it as though you're a hiring manager. Ask yourself the questions. Would I trust this person? Is there ambiguity here in this resume? Do I see judgment? Do I see activity? Would I hire this individual as you're looking at this resume? If you can't defend these lines out loud, then it shouldn't be on your resume. And by the way, as you're going through and verifying your resume, if it doesn't pass mustard with you, just take it back to the very beginning of the loop again. Observe the information, decide on what you feel needs to change, act on it with AI, and of course, verify it again. No big deal. And in fact, it's highly encouraged, especially with critical documents like this. So in conclusion, we started off with this sample resume, and with the thinking process that I stepped all of you through, we ended up with this resume. As you compare these 2 resumes, there are 3 differences that really stick out. Difference number 1, task to outcomes. Instead of listing tasks, it shows what changed because this person was there. Difference number 2, skills to capability. The skills didn't really change between these 2 resumes. What changed was how they're framed in action. And difference number 3, the static history. This version tells the hiring manager how this person operates when things are unclear. There are so many different resume services and tools available that are out there today. It just makes your head spin. You don't actually need those tools. You just need a nice, clean thinking process to work with AI on. At that point, it'll take your information, it will amplify it, and it'll make it visible. Really, that's it. But as always, thank you very much for being here. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and mahalo.